Please do not change channel.
From Krypton Radio, brought to you by Famous Faces and Funnies and Off the Chain with Yvonne Mason, it's the Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour, the Internet's premier pop culture talk radio show. You're tuned in, you're logged on, and now your hosts, GW Pomichter and Christian Basel. Who are you hanging with?
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' with Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter.
I'm Christian Basel.
And we are
I want to see if he wants to say it right.
Ready? We are at Tampa Bay Comic Con.
Yes.
In Tampa Bay, Florida.
Oh, that's
at the Tampa Bay Convention Center. I ran out of Tampa Bay. Yeah, I ran out of Tampa Bays.
In Tampa?
In Tampa. Yeah. That's right.
So
we're here, downtown.
Yesterday, he was so tired he could not say Tampa Bay Comic Con.
Oh, but I did like 18 interviews, okay? Like, bam,
I think we were in three different cities by the time.
Guys, we're here at Tampa Bay Comic Con. We're hanging with Steve Cardenas, the Red Ranger. That's right. You guys, just imagine, he's got a helmet.
Right.
See? This is what he looks like. For real.
He's in disguise right now.
He's in disguise. He's incognito.
Clark Kent right now.
That's right. So, Steve, man, thanks for hanging with us.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for coming on over, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so, how does one
become a
chart a path to being a Power Ranger?
Well, actually,
good agent. Really, a really good agent.
It was.
We're going to thank him right now.
It was a fluke, actually. It was a fluke. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I've been a martial artist since I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And I was listening to the radio one day when I was about 20, back in '94, and a commercial came on, and it was like, "Hey, we're looking for new Power Rangers. If you know how to do karate and gymnastics, come on down to the local TV station and try out." So I just went down and tried out. I was like, I'll go see what's up.
Why not?
And I never dreamed that they'd actually call me back. But a couple days later, they called me back like, hey, we liked your audition. We want to fly you to California to meet the producers.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of Power Rangers before?
I knew it, yeah. I was familiar with it. I knew about it because, like I said, I've been teaching martial arts and stuff. So all the kids would talk about Power Rangers. Oh, Power Rangers. What's this? Let me check it out. I'll see what's up. And I would watch the show and I'm like, oh, God, I could do what they're doing. Never, again, like I said, never actually thinking that anybody's going to ask me to do that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so then, just some weird random commercial I heard on the radio, and a couple of my buddies said, you should go try out. I was like, all right, I'll go.
Okay,
So that's kind of how it happened, and then they flew me to California, and then I never moved back. I was in Texas.
This is not a fluke. You actually, you auditioned, you got the role.
Well, right, but it was just random, though. You know, it wasn't like I had aspirations to be an actor or anything like that.
Oh, I see.
As a matter of fact, like, I had to learn all that stuff on the job because I had never done any acting before of any kind. And so that was probably the hardest part of it.
Learning
martial arts stuff was no problem.
Well, we always tell our creative artists on the show, mastery of skill. It's the hardest part of what any of us do.
Yeah.
Is trying to learn our craft.
Yeah.
And you pull your radio off the street and say, okay, action.
Yeah, that was definitely. That was a deer in the headlights sort of experience for me, learning that part of it. But after a while, I got
Now, for everybody out there on YouTube, what iteration of Power Rangers are you
I was on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers back from '94 to '97.
Okay, there you go. Because we know, guys, there's like a whole list. When you go to Power Rangers, there's a whole list of
there's a whole lot of incarnations now. It's
2.0 dinosaur.
This month is actually the 25-year anniversary.
25 years. Wow. That is fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And you're still out here touring the concert.
Yeah, I go pretty much every weekend.
The fans that were watching the show back then are all grown up.
Yeah, they're all grown up.
And they're excited. They're still excited about Power Rangers.
And what's cool too is like they actually now they all have kids too, and they introduce their kids to the show, and now the kids also know who we are as well.
This is a brilliant, redundant product when you can pull your kids into it over and over.
It really is. And it's one of those things where I was a dad when my kids were watching Power Rangers, and I was like, it's a neat little show. It's what it kind of felt like, right? Intentionally. Which was really cool because usually when you see something, it's usually you get the actors on stage or whatever, and they'll say, well, we know we had a low budget and we had this and we had this. Yeah. This was made for those kids.
Yeah.
And it stayed that way. And every iteration since has stayed that way.
It's all, the same formula. Yeah,
that's exactly. Right. And because it's made for your kids to enjoy, and there's a great moral lesson inside Power Rangers.
There's always like a moral, but it's also very campy as well, too.
So, how much fun was that to do? To have your first acting gig and be, like you said, deer in the headlights, there you are, and to be on a show that's that campy and that fun and that physical.
Well, I mean, obviously that's the part. It's like there was so much like stuff that we had to do in order to make the episode, but we had to shoot everything very fast. Like, you know, one 22-minute episode would take about a week to film.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were probably shooting like 2 or 3 episodes at a time.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Yeah, so they could, we never knew, like, you know,
like
we'd have to get 3 scripts and like, all right,
store.
we're in the command center, now we're going to do this, we got a wardrobe change, and you're going to say this line, they're going to change back again. Jesus, so it was very, it was crazy.
Now, you have a martial arts background. So what was the challenge going from a real martial arts background to a stage martial arts?
Well, the thing is, like, you know, the style of martial arts that I do is called American Taekwondo, and like I said, I was also a gymnast as well. So that part of it, I used to like.
So when the Red Ranger is like twirling around and doing this, that is Steve.
Yeah, and it was like. I grew up learning fight choreography stuff, so I was already very familiar with that part. So that part, like I said, was easy. It was just the acting that was hard for me.
Now, Steve, you're, and this is going to come in a 2-part question. First of all, coming into a mythos that's already developed.
Yeah.
The moment that you put on that suit until now, how did it change your life? And I'm going to ask the second part behind this question. Your most, and I'm using the term directly, your most personable fan experience.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like coming into it, I guess. What was the first part of the question?
Well,
You're coming into an existing
once you got set up,
okay, yeah.
and now going to conventions.
I was actually
and stuff,
very nervous about it because I knew that I was replacing the original Red Ranger that was on the show for the first season. And I knew there would probably be a lot of angry fans, like, who is this guy, you know? So I just kind of, like, all you can do is hope, because anyone would take the job. So all you can do is just hope that you can,
Fortunately, unlike, a lot of times with the huge franchises and the adult franchises, adult fans can be, we're kind of prickly.
Yeah.
We get used to something in one movie, 1 2-hour block of our lives. That's the person forever.
Yeah.
That's how actors always talk about getting typecast.
I'm going to bring in my geekdom. It's like when the first Doctor, my Doctor Who, when they brought on the first actor to replace him, I'm sure
there's always friction.
There's always friction, but you also have
the great thing about 12-year-olds is, man, as long as you're good, they love you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which
they came around eventually, so I was happy about that. But to answer your second part of your question, the thing that I probably really like the most about doing Power Rangers and stuff is that we'd always work with Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Oh, cool.
And so, some kids, it was like their dying wish to meet us, so they would always come to the set every week, and it's basically their last thing they're ever going to do, and they get to meet us, So I was very happy about being a part of that because, it's unfortunate, when kids get sick and stuff like that. And so if their only wish is to meet us, I was really happy to do that. And, to me, it's been very rewarding, in that sense. And now these days, when I do Comic-Con and stuff, people will come up and be like, hey, look, I went through a real hard time in my childhood, and, you helped me get through it, So when people say stuff like that to me, it's worth everything that we did, So
that is fantastic. Now, this is a Comic-Con, guys. Literally, we met Steve on the patio. Okay, we're just hanging out, and we met Steve.
That's why it's the Hangin' With show.
That's right.
Exactly.
So we haven't done anything. Literally, back behind the cameras. Even this is the first time I can honestly say the girls were completely unprepared. So other than that he's the Red Ranger, we didn't know anything about Steve. So are you still acting, and what are you doing?
Yeah. I still do some acting stuff here and there. Mainly, though, I'm touring right now with Comic-Con. I do maybe about 40 weeks out of the year. I'm traveling all over the world. Yeah, I go everywhere.
Wow.
Like later this year, I'm going to Lithuania. I'm going to Vienna, Austria, London.
Wow.
I go everywhere. Yeah.
Back on the set, favorite episode, favorite shoot.
There was quite a few, but honestly, my favorite thing to work on was the Power Ranger movie that we did back in '95. Yeah. And the day I got hired, they're like, "Okay, congratulations, you're the new Red Ranger. We're going to film for about a month and a half, so we can get some episodes in the can, and then we're going to Australia to do a movie." I was like, I couldn't believe how my life changed, right? It was so crazy. So, that's kind of how that happened.
Like, every young actor out there went, I want that.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
I would love to pose as a question. Would you mind doing that for us? I'm like, well, let me think.
Right?
Yeah, really.
I'll think about it.
Wow.
Exactly.
Yeah. 40 weeks out of the year on the road at Comic-Con.
Yep.
It's a busy schedule.
Yeah.
But it's also
I don't mind
a
it
great
at all.
community
Yeah,
to be
of course.
a part of.
I love Comic-Con, you know what I mean? Like, because it gives people like a platform, so to speak, to people that are generally like kind of shunned by society a little bit because they're kind of geeky or nerdy. And they feel like they don't fit in, but this is a place for them.
Yeah, well, we talk about that on the show all the time. There was a time when we were growing up when the fandoms that are here were kind of all splintered apart, and we were little groups of subculture.
Yeah, exactly.
And now when you come to a place like Tampa Bay Comic Con, we are pop culture. It's like the first. Many if you got shoved in a locker
cool
as a kid,
nerd now.
that was us. And now it's cool.
Yeah.
And there are 100,000 of our closest friends wandering around here.
And it's not only that, but the crossover. I mean, if you go to like a sporting event, you've got the two teams, two sides, and they're fractioned, and God forbid they even get into this, go after the same popcorn.
Especially in England, by the way.
Right.
Yeah. But if you come here, everybody, you got Star Trek, Star Wars, Power Rangers, Doctor Who, everybody, and they're melting together, and they're telling their own story, and they're making it their own way.
Because Steve's probably got pictures on his wall at home of him standing next to like a Jedi on one side and a stormtrooper.
Actually, one of my favorite experiences was actually because I grew up watching The Karate Kid. That was my jam.
You know what I mean? Are you glad it's back?
Oh, I'm so glad it's back.
Okay.
So I know all those guys too, Billy Zabka and
okay.
So when I got to meet Ralph Macchio for the first time, I was like, oh my God, you are the reason. You are the reason I got into martial arts. And it was like, anyway.
Wow.
So yeah, now I get to see those guys all the time.
She's got a note for you.
Okay. We're saying hello to Lucas. Hi, Lucas. How are you, buddy? Sorry you couldn't be here, but maybe next time we'll see you.
That's right. Thank you very much, Steve, for that. Lucas, we hope you get that message here on the show. And thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
It's been so great.
Thank you for coming.
Man, we have to say goodbye to Steve right now, but as we do, we want to say thank you to our partners and our friends at Something Unique Magazine, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, our great friends at Pound the Grape,
and I'll
our
take
new friends.
Embellish FX in downtown Orlando. If you are a cosplayer and you live in Central Florida,
or an actor, and if you need spirit gum, wigs, costumes, pieces, parts, as Cosplay Michael calls them, bits and bobs, go to Embellish Effects in Orlando. They've got everything you need to put on. If you want to hang out with Steve and be the next Red Ranger.
Actually, you know what? Speaking of Orlando, November 9th through 11th in Orlando.
That's right.
Yeah.
There is a Power Ranger convention. It's a convention that's just dedicated to Power Rangers. It's called Ranger Stop. So
Ranger Stop, Orlando.
Orlando, November 9th through 11th.
9 through 11.
Come down and check it out. There's going to be probably about 30 Power Rangers there from all different seasons.
That's a lot of Power Rangers.
Including the original Red Ranger from the Japanese Super Sentai series.
Wow,
is going to be there as well, too.
Man.
And just real fast, Steve, what's your online presence? Where they can find you?
Steve Cardenas PR on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, check him out on Twitter, on Instagram. We're going to put links down below so you can find Steve and check out all those things. We're going to throw a link up there to the Power Ranger show, so you guys can go and get caught up.
Yeah, they're all on Netflix. You can watch all 800 episodes are on Netflix.
800 episodes. No wonder there's 30 of them, because 800 episodes. Wow, that is fantastic.
Begin right at the beginning.
That's right. Start at the beginning. That's right, and just go.
Yeah. Very good.
See what I did there? Anyway, guys, stay logged on, stay tuned in, and see who we're hanging with next. Steve, thank you so much.
Thanks,
That was awesome.
Channeling the Mothership is an exciting journey into the higher mysteries. Certified psychic medium and clairvoyant Jerry McDaniel's readings, writings, and messages have been received by thousands of people in more than 45 countries. These messages have been obtained by channeling his higher self. How does he do it? Is it a blessing or a curse? And what lay beyond the reach of your five senses? These mysteries and so much more are examined in this explosive book, Channeling the Mothership. Explore the mysteries of the spiritual and the metaphysical. Channeling the Mothership by author Jerry McDaniel. Available on Amazon.com today.
Hi, I'm Cosplay Michael with the Hangin with Web Show, and you're listening to Krypton Radio. And remember, cosplay's for everyone.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. If you haven't done it yet, take a second, go down, hit subscribe. There's a little bell. You can click that, come back over and over again. We've got artists, authors, filmmakers, entertainers, musicians, creative minds of all kinds on the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter, and we are here at Tampa Bay Comic Con 2018 at the Tampa Bay Convention Center, right on the bay. Gorgeous out there.
It's a fantastic view.
This is
fantastic.
fantastic.
It doesn't get better.
Yeah, we're here hanging right now with Elise Kova, the author of Air Awakens.
Do my best Vanna White impression.
That's right. Air Awakens. Elise, thanks for hanging with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
Great to meet you guys. Great
well,
to be
we're
here.
trying to offer the artists a chance to get off their feet for a few minutes.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
it's good because I barely escape the booth. I have a extra set of hands at the booth, so I go to the bathroom and eat. Like need that reminder at a convention.
That's right. You know, every once in a while they come over and they're like, hey, have you left the booth? What?
There's a place beyond the booth.
There's no place beyond the table.
Yeah,
the table
it's just,
that's the edge of the universe.
It's a lie. Everything else is a lie.
That's
like
right. It's like Schrodinger's cat, only we're the cat.
Well, it's fantastic to be here. I'm really glad to be in this space beyond.
This is fantastic. So, Elise, let's talk about your writing.
Yeah, sure. So my first book, which was Air Awakens, came out in 2015, and since then, I think I'm up to. Someone asked me, and I was trying to count. I think I'm up to 12 or 13 published titles across 3 different series.
This is a classic overachiever. Wow, that's a lot of work.
I write very fast, and I love doing it. It's always, I talk to people, and I'm like, it's hard sometimes to make the delineation of work and fun when your work is your passion.
That's right. Yeah.
But I've been very fortunate, very lucky, and been able to do what I love. And each of my series are a little bit different. I write everything from young adult to new adult to adults, and I have steampunk and epic fantasy and dark fantasy and urban fantasy, paranormal romance. So they all kind of sit in a different slightly different wheelhouse.
Like tonight, she's going to go home. She's going to have a dream. She's going to wake up tomorrow morning and she's going to publish a book by 5. It's really the way that works. Now, okay, so let's start with Air Awakens. Okay, so first published title.
Yes.
2015.
2015. It was
so you woke up one
series.
morning in around 2014, you woke up and you said, look, success? Nah. I'm going to be an artist.
Well, it didn't quite go like that. I finished my master's in business, and then I decided to sell everything I own and have a life adventure. So I moved to Japan. And while I was in Japan working full-time, I decided, why not write something? And I actually started thinking I was going to write fan fiction, but then I knew myself, and I'm like, I'm going to get 80,000 words in and go, I could have written an actual book with this amount of time. Yeah. So I ended up writing the Air Awakens series, 5 books in about the span of a year from 2012 to 2013. And then when I was done, I was like, well, I have these books now. Maybe I should try to do something with them. Mm-hmm. So as I'm coming back to the States, getting a corporate job, because that's what you do when you have an MBA. You get a corporate job. You get a boring desk job. And I started querying literary agents. I got rejected by 111 literary agents and ultimately decided to self-publish. First one came out in August of 2015. The last one came out of July of 2016, and that was the one that put me on the USA Today bestseller list.
That's fantastic.
So, and then the other books came out after that.
Yeah, that's, you know what, amazing. We tell our artists all the time, if you're going to work in the creative arts, get used to the word no.
Yes.
A lot.
And don't take it personally either.
No, not at all.
I mean,
it is, we do the creating, but there's a business side to it.
Yep.
And the business is driven by numbers and demand and what's there. Sometimes what we're doing today isn't in demand for another 5 years.
Yeah.
And so you hear no a lot. The paradigm in arts and entertainment all the way across the board has shifted, though, to a place where if you're willing to ride out those 2 or 3 years, go and do it.
Yeah.
And you were able to do that, and in less than that, find yourself, hey, the demand is there now, and I own all my own stuff.
And sometimes it's just bad luck. I mean, there are agents who, especially in the literary world, an agent you don't know what they have going on, you don't know what they have in the pipeline, and they may have another title that's just similar to yours. And a lot of agents don't want to represent too many titles that sit in the same genre because they don't want too much competition between authors.
Their own authors,
their own authors. And so it makes perfect sense, and it's all's well that ends well. Actually, my agent now is at a literary agency. That was one of the first agencies I queried. So
that's right. The first one to tell her no was like the first one to say, hey, whoa. Remember that time we said no? So now you have how many titles?
So I have about 13 published books across 3 different series.
3 different series,
yes.
Okay. What is your favorite Do you have it's like picking a favorite kid, right?
It really is.
It
really is.
Something that was the most fun or the most challenging, or something that stands out in your mind. What is your favorite?
So, probably the one that immediately comes to mind. I have two that come to mind, and one of them is a man by the name of Jax in the Air Awaken series, and he's a very complex but very over the top nutty guy. Total fun to write, and he was one of those characters that. When I first introduced him, when I was first drafting him, I was just like, this is going to be a side character, right? He has a backstory, but he's just going to be there and not important. And then he just stole the show. So he's one, and then the other one is a character by the name
By the way, in the creative arts, this is the only career where you can actually say, something that was created in my mind as this did his own thing.
And that happens all the time.
It does.
It does.
Your characters start to talk to you, and then they start to do stuff on their own.
Or what's worse is they don't even talk to you. They don't even give you a heads up.
No
They're
heads
just
up.
over here,
They're
and you're
just
like,
over
how
there.
did you get there?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm following. I'm trying to keep up.
You have notes, you have Post-it notes all over the place going, did I put him there? Where was he? Yeah, it's crazy. What was it about writing once you got started that just hooked you?
You know, I think
an MBA in business is,
Yeah.
by the way, very handy if you're going to be a creative artist.
Yes.
Because we don't count so well.
I still don't
I might
count
be
so
calling her after the show. Wait a minute. But from an MBA in business to being a creative artist, like you said, it's a very... She was supposed to go and get the boring day job, spreadsheets and big charts and things, and
it's funny because a lot of authors I know actually don't have backgrounds in the traditional things you'd expect, like creative writing or English or literature.
You know why? Because when I majored in journalism and English, and when you tell your parents that you're going to major in writing, you know what they say?
Well, do you like eating? Do you like making money?
Ramen, and they tell you all these horror stories. They're not wrong, by the way. But really, you have to start thinking to yourself, okay, maybe business. I took my writing and went to journalism because I thought, people pay journalists. So, give me a book blurb for Air Awakens. Tell me, let's tell them about Air Awakens. Let's do the Vanna thing, okay? All right.
So, Air Awakens tells us the story of a 17-year-old library apprentice who discovers she has a rare elemental magic, and as a result gets wrapped into the Empire's war as a tool for destruction. Battle, bloodshed, betrayal, and a couple of hot brooding princes ensue. It's a 5-book series, and a lot of people liken it to Avatar: The Last Airbender meets Throne of Glass or Harry Potter or Graceling.
That was... Just saying. You can
find it at my booth.
You can find it at my booth if you're at Tampa Bay Comic Con, but by the time you see this, you won't be at Tampa Bay Comic Con. So what I want you to do is, as soon as you're done with this, not now, that guy's really impatient, okay? As soon as you're done with this, go down below. There are going to be links. We're going to send you over to Amazon and to all the places where you could pick up Air Awakens and the rest of the series. This is part of a series.
Yes, it's part of the series. And also, my social media is a great way to follow me. I'm on Twitter at Elise Kova, Instagram at Elise.Kova, because I couldn't make it simple.
Because there were 700 Elise Kovas apparently, and one of them didn't have a dot. She does.
But you can find me on any of my social media, and my website's elisekova.com, and it has links to all of that. So.
Fantastic. Make sure you guys check out all of those links down below and get over to Air Awakens. Now you have 2 other series.
I do, yes.
And what are they?
So my sophomore series after Air Awakens was a series called the Loom Saga, and that's my...
The
Loom Saga.
Loom.
L-O-O-M, yes.
As in looming.
As in looming or weaver's loom.
Or a weaver, okay.
And it's a dark, epic, gritty fantasy with steampunk elements.
She just likes adjectives. Whenever she talks, it's a writer's thing. She likes adjectives. Okay, so give us a little...
Yeah, so that one, it tells the story of Ariana, who is an engineer turned organ thief.
Engineer turned organ thief.
Yes.
Like organs?
Like internal organs, because there's a race, the dragons in this world have magic in their organs. Different organs have different magics, and so if people steal the organs, transplant them, or eat them, they get the magic. That's where the dark
Steal them,
in.
transplant them, or eat them.
Yes.
This is like... I got nothing. Because that's how you shut a talk show host down. You say all of that in one sentence. without breathing, by the way. I can't prove she's alive. And the third series?
And the third series is called The Wish Quartet, and that's my paranormal romance urban fantasy set in a near future alternate reality about a hacker who's gunned down in a government raid and is reborn as a witch and discovers she's so much more.
There's nothing that's not in these books. I'm going through my head. There's nothing that you need to be in these books to find out what's going on. The first one, of course, is Air Awakens. We're going to put links down below so that you can find Elise Kova on the web. She's going to shake that card until I shut up. I don't really care. But before I go, I'm going to say thank you. I want to say thank you to our partners and our friends over at Something Unique Magazine, Space Coast Comics, Famous Faces and Funnies, Off the Chain Radio with author Yvonne Mason, Pound the Grape in Melbourne, Florida. Great little wine bar. They do art lessons. Great place to sit and write. Yeah, you can sit and do some. Good to know. She could spend like 3 hours there and write like 27 novels. And our great friends in Orlando at Embellish Effects. This is a great place to shout them out because we're at a convention where there's cosplayers everywhere. Yeah. Every kind of cosplay. I saw cosplayers, I didn't recognize the characters. They're just like completely new.
But they're incredible costumes.
They are. It's amazing. Yeah. We're going to say goodbye, guys. So remember, subscribe, log on.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Yeah, ring the bell. Come back again and again and again.
YouTube's been weird lately.
Log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Devarius has lost everything. His parents murdered, his sister kidnapped, and the new village he called home destroyed. The Dragonia Empire is out of control, destroying anything and everything in their path, searching for the Resistance. Devarius is left with no choice but to find the Resistance, join them, and hope he can help them defeat the Dragonia Empire once and for all to bring peace to the land of Keldroga. Dragonia, Rise of the Wyverns, Dragonia Empire Volume 1.
From author Julie Morgan comes this epic erotic fantasy, The Concubine and Her Vampires. Olivia Martin's sole purpose as a blood demon was to be little more than a blood bag to a vampire master. Then came Jared and his 4 brothers. Now at the center of her own vampire harem, need, lust, and blood drive Olivia further into a life she never considered possible. The Concubine and Her Vampires by Julie Morgan is available now on Amazon.com.
Greetings, true believers. This is absolutely, positively not Stan Lee, reminding you that you are listening to Krypton Radio. Krypton? That's the other guys. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi. Excelsior!
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. We are at Tampa Bay Comic Con. I'm GW Pomichter.
I'm Christian Basel. Welcome, and thank you for logging in.
That's right. We are here hanging with J.R. Mounts, the creator of Fried Pickle Noir.
Yes.
Say those 3 words together. That's Fried Pickle Noir.
And then say them drunk.
Yeah, and it's not noir, it's noir.
Noir, that's right.
It's a French word.
Wait, I got nothing to say after.
That's right. It means black, dark. Never mind. They tuned out as soon as we said hello.
They're looking up noir right now. They're Googling how to pronounce it.
Bring us back. What is French Pickle Noir?
All right, Fried Pickle Noir. It's like Sin City meets VeggieTales. French Pickle Noir is another thing. It's more of a dish served cold.
Oui.
Ba-dum, boom. Man, we're on it now. Guys, if you're watching the Hangin' With Web Show, y'all ought to know what noir is.
Go ahead, Google it.
Okay. Google it. It's a dark.
My first novel was a noir.
Okay.
Was a noir. Right, that was a hard-boiled detective noir.
Hard-boiled,
sort of those classic Bogart-style detectives.
Philip Marlowe.
Bogey, that's right. Sam Spade. Yes.
Mickey Spillane.
That's right.
The early Richard Widmark films.
You have a pickle noir.
I have a fried pickle noir. It is like Sin City meets VeggieTales.
That is awesome.
It's crime stories about fruits and vegetables trying to bump each other off mob style in a seedless city called The Pits, where you meet characters like Hal Raisin, Hater Tot, and Samuel Jackson.
This sounds like a really seedy place to live.
They are rated V for vegetable violence.
Oh, my Lord.
But they're guaranteed to be healthy by the FDA.
So we lost Christian a while ago. He's just
I can't tell you what I'm thinking right now.
Oh, Lord have mercy. This is
and not only that, there's a pickle in front of me. So.
There's a fried pickle.
Designed to be hungry.
Yes.
That's right. if you're hungry for a good read, we
God.
could keep going all day.
I know.
That's what I'm saying. All right, so
I had to stop.
all right, I will ask the same question your mother asked. What the hell were you thinking?
I get 2 questions a con that always. One is, what the hell is this?
Yes.
The second is, were you high? You had to be high.
Once again, the same question his mother asked.
I was bored. I was a musician for years and years and
Apparently
years.
you had the munchies at the time.
I was writing music for bands, and I was performing in bands and writing for musicals and things like that, and I love story. But when that takes too many people to rely upon, I wanted something I could control myself.
Okay.
My friend said, well, you like comics, draw comics. And my first thought was, I'm a musician. All right? I don't do comics, I read comics, and it's like...
Wait a minute, do that again.
Yeah, see,
Okay,
like that?
yeah,
That's the physical. But I'm watching Crime Noir, the raw deal, all right?
Yes.
And I'm eating fried pickles with my friend. She's like, you should make a fried pickle character. I'm like, oh, it's that lightning rod moment.
Yeah, it's an embolism.
Because his name is not Q Fried Pickle. It's Q Cumbersome, all right? So, and every private dick has a sad tale.
Yeah.
So he was a cucumber on the police force. The mob ingredients move in. The meatheads, melonheads, eggheads. They beat him, basted him, juiced him, and fried him alive. But the death doesn't take, so now he's a fried pickle out for revenge. And he's the long arm of the slaw.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
Wow. This is the funniest show you've ever watched on YouTube, people.
Well, I'm what's called a hardcore
You're not seeing this, but Sage and Dina have hit the
I
floor.
like
They're
it.
not even
I like
watching
it.
the camera anymore.
We're rated like, I lost my pun. It's gone. This is pornography.
It is pornography.
You're watching pornography right now.
Hardcore pornography.
Wow, we had a couple titles here.
So
I've
dirty.
got 5 books in all.
5 books in
The
all.
Raw Dill.
The Raw Dill.
Kielbasa Blanca.
Kielbasa Blanca. Nice.
The Dirty Half
Wow.
Dozen.
Awesome.
Where he goes up against the Eggheads, run by Sal Manella out of Shell's Kitchen because he's a New Yorker. He's a New Yorker.
New Yorker. I like it.
Leftovers, of course, and of course, the newest book, Russet's Revenge, where a hot potato puts him in a real pickle.
As much as I mean it, we have to support the local arts and everybody. Please keep this going.
No doubt.
No matter what.
No doubt.
There's also a new coloring book called You're Gonna Need a Lot of Red, for which I supply the first red crayon because you're gonna need a lot of red.
Gonna need a lot of red in this
Anybody
book.
who knows crime noir, you know John Wick.
Yes.
You're gonna need a lot of red.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. What are readers saying?
Sage isn't even frightened.
What are the readers saying? What are the fans saying?
I have a niche cult following, all right? Because, puns are either like the funniest thing you ever heard or the worst thing you've ever heard. So I get a lot of or a lot of
Really? Well, my first thought when I hear a single pun is always, really?
Yeah. That's my readership.
Because you have to have, if you're going to go in, you got to dive in all the way.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
agree. You got to commit.
A single pun just makes you anybody's dad.
Yeah. Well,
That's how we make Michael go away. Dad does a pun, Michael walks away with his head hanging down in shame.
Yep.
Like, wow, he's responsible for the therapy I'm going to need someday. But if you can do what he does,
do a pun
you can
kill
do it,
shot.
you
You
can
need
roll
a
with
machine.
You got to write it. You got to write it. You got to write it honest. If you're going to parody something, you got to be honest. If I say crime noir,
are you a noir fan?
I love noir.
Are you a noir
Absolutely.
fan? Absolutely.
Noir is like one of my favorite genres, and so to be able to write a crime mystery straight and then pun it up, it's kind of like a twofer. It's like Bugs Bunny and Duck Tracy.
I love it.
So you get to do both of them.
Yeah.
So you get both. But you got to be honest. They just heard one of my puns.
Now, do you still do music, and is that incorporated into your books?
Yeah, actually, being that I was a musician for a long time, trying to find a way to write music for an art medium was something I wanted to try to figure out doing. And when I did, I do another title called Scary Tales.
Scary Tales.
It's with an eye could see not so scary fairy tales. It's like Calvin and Hobbes walking into the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
Well, with the Nightmare Before Christmas, there's a lot of music for it. So the first thing I want to do when the Snobbies come, all right, the Snobbies are zombie snowmen that come back to life hungry for clothing. Because the snowman didn't have brains and he melted, he had clothes. So he wants oven mitts, hats, tutus, black jackets.
This guy, look.
You said
I don't know what he smokes.
Snobbies, and the first thing that happened was Veruca Salt.
I don't know what he smokes before bed, but when he wakes up, he's got new ideas every day.
I got a lot of cheese dip in this body. Okay, this is built by cheese dip. No lie. But I wanted to write a musical for the Snobbies, and then that worked because it was like my Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown moment. And then when I wrote my first adult novel, comic book called Stuck in My Head, I wanted it's about a guy who's happily married, but he's got a really crappy job, so all he does is daydream about killing his coworkers.
So Walter Mitty, murderer.
Directed by Quentin Tarantino. So imagine that.
Wow.
That's exactly my punchline is Walter Mitty by Tarantino.
Danny Cage is rolled over in his grave.
Well, I wanted music.
It's a lot of red.
There is a lot of red in that too.
Okay.
I wanted music for it.
I wouldn't want it any other way.
So there's 2 CDs worth of music that follow his emotional timeline. And you can kind of figure out the seriousness and the sweetness and the anger within the music itself. And
you got a book with a soundtrack.
Yeah. It got Best Graphic Novel second place last year at Dragon Con.
Fantastic.
I got beat by Jim Butcher.
Damn you, Jim Butcher.
I can say the Pickle guy got butchered.
Ba-dum-bum.
You know, so
yes.
it's only second best. That's not bad. First loser.
That's not bad at all. At Dragon Con, by the way. Pretty good
Did
stuff.
you just float in the Jungle Cruise boat and just stay on?
The backside of water. I'm still trying to figure out how to incorporate that into my stuff.
Yeah.
But music is always a part of some project. I have a theme song for the Fried Pickle Noir written. I just have I want to go to if I can get to an animation studio to do like 2 or 3 minute snippets, I've got the music.
Wow.
I've got the storyboard, so it just takes some out of time.
Guys out there, we got some Hanging with Web Show alumnus, some animators. You gotta call JR, get together here. We're waiting.
Look, people, the bar is low. Okay, the bar's low.
That's right. Look, this is adult VeggieTale. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
American
right.
City. They died biblically.
This is VeggieTale with T-A-I-L.
Yeah.
Just saying. That'll be his next.
I like that. Well, the next book is
dare I ask, what's up? What's coming up?
What's coming up?
What's
the
coming
Codfather.
The Codfather.
He goes up against the fish heads, run by Marlon Brando of the Alba Corleone family. He's searching for his daughter Jessica Alba Corleone, and she's been kidnapped by Escargot Face. And only Moody Fisk and Rambo Trout know why.
Wow.
But what I'm working on now.
Slow down. Write it down. You'll be able to read it.
I'm still back at Noir.
Noir. The next thing I've got right now is my first watercolor book that I'm doing color for the first time. Okay. It's called Silver Linings. It was a Kickstarter that got funded in 30 minutes. I wasn't done with laundry, like I do laundry, but I wasn't done with laundry, and it was fully funded. So it's about an old man who is a widower. He lives alone in a retirement community they dubbed Widower's Row in a small town in Dubuque, Iowa, and they've got nothing to live for. His wife is dead, his brother just died, so he feels, I'm just ready to die. And one day he goes back to the farm to visit his barn, and an alien has crash-landed into his barn. It's just pieces of everything. And this alien...
Which, by the way, just made life in Dubuque a lot more interesting.
Yeah. Well, I got relatives in Dubuque, so I thought, you do what you know. Yeah. This alien is wounded and it needs his help. It kind of looks like an E.T. type. Okay. And so this guy finds that nursing this alien back to health is his reason for living now. Now he's got a partner, he's got a friend, he's got a buddy. This alien, though, is only the top half of the alien. The bottom half lands, and it's all mouth and teeth and hunger. This alien is part of an alien race of locusts that destroy worlds. They eat everything on it until there's nothing left. So the little guy's got to decide whether or not he defends this community of old people or he joins his species. So I liken it to, like, say, Iron Giant and E.T. for old people. And it's about how old people saved this world out of Dubuque, Iowa. And
old people from Dubuque saving the world cocoon style.
It's called Silver Linings.
Silver Linings, coming soon.
Yes. And I'm hoping to be done in 2 weeks. And at the very latest, maybe October, because that's my Scary Tales anniversary.
So you create these. Yes. You're doing the writing.
I do the writing, the drawing.
You do the art too?
Yeah, I do it all.
And the music and the soundtrack.
Yep.
Wow.
One hat, many jobs.
Yeah, it's a big hat.
Well, my bald spot's pretty big, so it needs to be a big hat.
Mine too, brother. I'm telling you. Wow.
I'm still catching up. Everybody's on page 10. I'm on page 2.
This is fantastic. This is leftovers we've got here. We're going to drop links in the description down below so that you can find JR Mounts online. You can check out Fried Pickle Noir. We've got leftovers here. We've got Scary Tales.
The not so scary fairy tales.
This is the not so scary fairy tales. And then, of course, we had a coloring book for the kids or for not the kids. Because there's a lot of red.
Crayon that you go to the restaurant that nobody uses. Make sure it's red.
Matt, we're going to tell you right now, don't give this to the kids. Okay, but...
Garrett, can I say it?
Yeah.
We have condiment to the end of our show.
He was been waiting...
I've been hanging on to
that for a while. Guys, we're going to wrap it up. As we do, we're going to say thank you to our partners and our friends at Embellish Effects in Orlando. Great stop for all your cosplay and costuming needs. If you're an actor, if you're a performer, if you're a cosplayer.
Welcome aboard, guys.
If you just need heavier makeup, stop by Embellish Effects. Go to Pound of Grape if you're going to sit down and dive into.
You need more red.
If you're going to dive into a Pickle Noir, sit down at Pound the Grape, have a glass of wine. You're going to need it, okay? And enjoy a little fast food. We're going to say thank you to Off the Chain with Yvonne Mason, Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, Jake and Dave over there at Space Coast Comic Con, who has supported the show from the very beginning. And, of course, our very first partner, Some Unique Magazine out of St. Louis, Missouri. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Thank you for watching the show. Check out J.R. Mount's Fried Pickle Noir online. Remember, folks, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.
Noir.
Awesome.
Dude, that was awesome, man.
Very cool.
How you doing, everybody? This is KG Bethlehem. I'm an author of a new book called Certain Moments of Time. It's a collection of short stories. These short stories range from post-apocalyptic, dystopian, anti-utopia, as well as genre fiction. You can find Certain Moments of Time on sale at Amazon.com, where you can purchase the ebook format as well as paperbook format. You can also purchase it at Lulu.com, paperbook format, and will be on sale soon at BarnesandNoble.com.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
In the summer of 1953, private investigator Will Lucky Marks was working as the in-house private eye for Arcane Pacific Pictures. Trapped inside the studio with the killer, Lucky must find the killer before time runs out. Lot 28. Own it today. Available iTunes and Amazon.com.
From author R. Kyle Hanna comes The Jake Cutter Conspiracy. How far would you go to clear your name? Jake Cutter, convicted of a crime he didn't commit, is plunged into a battle for survival in the notorious Kleenex prison. Tormented by his captors and haunted by his past, for Cutter, it's all about revenge. R. Kyle Hanna's The Jake Cutter Conspiracy. Get it now on Amazon.com.
Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome back to the Hangin' With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter.
I'm Christian Basel.
And we are at Tampa Bay Comic Con 2018, hanging with one of our Hangin' With Web Show alumnus, best-selling, amazing, every universe you've ever loved, he's written in, Kevin J. Anderson.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It doesn't get any better than that.
I'm loving this. Just go ahead.
The creator of the Wordfire Press Publishing Company. The one-time record holder for the largest
single author book
signing event. That's right. And if you've ever seen it in a movie, on TV, or read it in a book, he's written in that universe. I promise you.
Well, my Little Pony stuff hasn't quite
caught up with that yet.
Hey, you know, they might be calling it anything.
Come on, the bronies. We need to get them involved.
You are one of the busiest authors I mean, you are always.
Yeah. I got to get going. See it.
Yeah. Yeah. The wheels are always turning. Last time we talked about the Rush book.
It was 2113.
2113. That's right. And we were shooting for 2113 pre-sales. How did we do?
Didn't quite make that, but we still did okay. In fact,
we blame you.
Yeah.
You too.
Well, it's 21. I don't have a copy to show. 2113 is a collection of short science fiction stories based on Rush songs.
Yes.
Like 2112 and Tom Sawyer and Limelight and all that stuff. So that worked out great, and I have a big connection with Rush because my novel Clockwork Angels and Clockwork Lives, these were written with Neil Peart, the drummer from Rush. He and I have known each other for, I think, 29 years, and we did a couple of novels together. The 2113 anthology he was partly involved in.
That was awesome.
And he's just a cool guy, and I've known him for a long time. So
yeah, it's always fun to work with your friends and to be inspired.
Yeah, it really
by
sucks
art.
to work with somebody you hate. I mean, I've done that.
It does.
It doesn't work.
It really does. We have a couple of titles here with you.
Sure.
So I'll tell you what. We're going to start with the latest. This is a graphic novel.
Yes.
And
we have a beautiful, our lovely model here is showing off.
That's right. Christian is our Vanna White.
Right. Stalag X.
Graphic novel.
And it's very graphic.
It's very graphic.
I co-wrote that with Stephen L. Sears, who was the executive producer of Xena, Warrior Princess, and he's also a well-known TV scriptwriter. He's written on tons of shows from the A-Team and Riptide and She Spies and all kinds of things.
See, I told you, Kevin writes with everybody in every universe ever made. So except My Little Pony.
Yeah, My Little Pony, but not yet.
Not yet. We're working. Yeah.
Stalag X it's really cool. It's human POWs in an alien concentration camp in a future war. So it's like Stalag 17, The Great Escape, the old like German Nazi World War II things. But it's on a horrible alien planet. It's a POW camp, and there's a guy. All you give is his name is Joe Human. He won't tell anything about him. And nobody knows anything about him. The other prisoners don't know about him. The alien captors are like, who is this guy? And he doesn't want to escape, and everybody else wants to get out of it.
He's like Hogan's Heroes.
Well, let's not compare it to Hogan's Heroes.
I made it funny.
Wow.
This is getting bloody and gutsy and stuff.
And
so just think about it, though. So what would be worse than staying in this alien concentration camp? He knows he's in worse shape if he goes home. So that's the whole big mystery around this guy. But that doesn't mean he's a traitor. It's just
it's just better to be where he's at.
So that's just this really great story of human POWs in this concentration camp called Stalag X, and there's some great characters in there.
A lot of the best written art is about more than just the human condition, human suffering. What makes us who we are.
Well, and
exploring that in a concentration camp level in a non-threatening and alien environment is kind of cool.
And like the Nazis didn't think of the Jews as humans; they did all.
Right, yeah.
So these are actual aliens that don't understand what humans are, and they're trying to figure it out. No matter how many they have to take apart to figure them out. Kind of nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And there's one of the alien scientists is doing all these horrible experiments, and so the prisoners have nicknamed him Mingala. And the alien thinks, well, I don't know who that is, but it must be a human hero that they're naming me after.
Must be cool, right?
And it's just some really, really great things.
You get to explore some really dark topics in this environment.
And we're looking at doing either feature film or TV series with it. Again, with Hollywood stuff, you never believe it till you're actually watching it when it's finished.
However, I will say, anybody in Hollywood, take my money now. I want to see this. I mean, I'm one.
Right. That's one.
We only need, 300 million more, and we're good.
Or 2113.
2113. We shot for that last time. We missed a little bit. It's your fault. Okay, we have the latest collection of Dune stories.
Well, and Brian Herbert and I have written 14 books in the Dune universe, and then this is we finally put together all the short stories that we've written over the years, and it's the very, very cleverly titled Tales of Dune, which covers short stories that are over the whole time period of the Dune universe.
Yeah.
So we've written those. And right now, there's a lot of talk about another Dune feature film. Legendary Pictures.
We've been following that. I know you guys have been discussing it on and off here and there.
Right, and then Brian and I are involved, but again, there's no official announcement that I can make yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we look forward to that announcement.
But
it's
Dune time for Dune to be done right.
Dune is a complex universe, and trying to consolidate that into film is. They've always had a hard time with that. They had a hard time in the 70s.
But they had a hard time doing the Lord of the Rings too until Peter Jackson did it right. So we can do it right now, and we really have high hopes, and we think we got the right people behind it. So
that is fantastic. We look forward to an announcement when that happens. We're going to share. We follow Kevin online. You can follow him on Facebook. You can follow him on Twitter. We're going to put links down below. You can also follow Wordfire Press and all the great, fantastic authors. You can also follow Kevin's cat.
Yes. My cat's name is Percival Lowell Anderson, and he's very cute and ends up getting hundreds of friend requests on his own. So
all on his own.
So if you follow the cat, then we can raise enough money to pay for his cat food and his cat toys and his, I don't know.
Which will keep him busy so Kevin can write more.
Yeah, that's true, because when he's not busy, the cat, he will drag his toys and drop them at my feet when I'm at the desk trying to edit, and he'll look up at me like, what's more important? And, as a cat owner, you know what's more important.
It is. It's very distracting. A lot of writers have the same problem. Kevin's cat. No, because it's social media. Cats own social media just about. So writers will go on to start writing, and then their Facebook will go off, and they'll get distracted.
What if your cat starts writing?
Yeah, well, then I'll be happy to be his co-author. But
there you go.
That's as an author, that's the frustrating thing. So I'm posting about Stalag X or Tales of Dune or Dune movie news, or I'll go on and post like lectures on writing advice, and I'll talk about the publishing world. And then I'll post a picture of Percival the cat, and I get 7 million likes instead.
You got to love that, right?
Yeah. So we know what my fans really want to see.
They really do. I mean, we talked about 2113 the last time. We begged you all to go out and meet that goal, and you came up a little shy, but well over 2,500 people probably liked the last cat picture. So
so if only we can convert that energy for the power of good.
That's right. For the power of good, you want to read a book. That's a good question.
Yes.
We'll ask that question. I happen to be a Dan Shambles fan. That's my favorite Kevin J. Anderson series. I have been yelling. I'm going to yell right directly at him. I've been yelling at my brother in Hollywood, telling him we need a Dan Shambles series.
Well, we might have some interest in that.
See that? Any new Dan Shambles stuff coming out?
Well, and I've got last December was the most recent novel. Well, let me Dan Shambles' Zombie P.I. is my very humorous dark fantasy mystery series, and he's a gumshoe detective, and he's a zombie. He's been killed, but he's back from the dead and back on the case, and he solves crimes with ghosts and werewolves and mummies, and it's stupid. It's Blazing Saddles kind of stupid, and I love it.
It's hilarious, and it's you built a universe, though. You did the world building.
Sandals?
That's what I think I did. Yeah,
Mel Brooks has got to work on that one.
You built a great universe, though, because in your universe, all the monsters are out.
Right.
They exist.
Just
Everyone
have
knows
normal
about
lives. They get divorced, and they go bankrupt, and they lose things, and so you need to hire a zombie detective.
To follow them. It's so tongue-in-cheek. It's so much fun, though.
The most recent one is called Tastes Like Chicken, and it's about a flock of demon-possessed feral chickens that are trying to take over the city. And the previous ones are slimy underbelly and hair-raising, and they're good. And I do. So that's the last novel. Latest novel, Tastes Like Chicken, and it looks like I've got another collection of a whole bunch of new Dan Shambles short stories that'll be out in November. I've written them all. They're kind of putting them together right now.
Dan Shambles Case Files.
Well, and if you want to catch up on everything, I've been putting together 2 Dan Shambles novels in one big book, so you can buy like 2 for 1.
Oh, wow.
And we call them, of course, the Zomnibus edition.
Zomnibus.
And so the first one has the first novel, Death Warmed Over, and all the short stories called Working Stiff. Working Stiff. And then the second one that just came out is the Unnatural Hairy Zomnibus, because it has unnatural acts and hair-raising in it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the third one that'll come out in January will be the last 2 novels, which is the Slimy Chicken Zomnibus. The titles just name themselves.
They do. It does.
So if that appeals to you, if you're looking for like sedate, serious, literate stuff,
that's not it.
That's not it.
Yeah, that's not it, guys. It's very tongue in cheek. It's very humorous. I like the Blazing Saddles description. It really is. This is Noir
Blazing
Sandals.
I got to get
And Sandals too, I guess. That one you have to look up on the web.
And in fact, the inspiration for the zombie detective, the humorous stuff is, look, I'm a fan of Walking Dead and World War Z and all the Night of the Living Dead, the horrible, graphic, bloody, nasty stuff. But there's a time where you just go, I've had enough of that. I just want to do Spaceballs version of it.
Last year, somebody asked me if I was going to write something this year because I've been doing the show.
Right.
And I said yes. I love what we do, and I love how serious we take it all, but I want to do the spoof of all the things that we think are cool but are really ridiculous. So I'm in the process of writing right now Zombie Dragons from Outer Space.
Okay.
Because those are the three things that seem to be the hot topic in the room.
And like you watch things like The Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
And The Big Bang Theory, everybody else thinks that it's hilarious and extreme and really exaggerated. We go, we know all those guys.
I know all those guys.
Every one of these
hang
people
out with
is
these
here.
people.
These are our normal friends, and that's
Yes.
what we normally do. And you really do spend hours arguing whether Next Generation or Classic Trek is better.
Yeah, you do. And
you
it's
can just basically put cameras at a convention and get that same thing going.
Alan Tudyk did that a couple years ago, pretty much.
Seriously?
He only wrote a comedy around it,
Yeah.
so we had Con Man. But yeah, that's fantastic. It is our community. These are people. These are our peers.
and even though we're wearing like the very spiffy black sport jacket,
we have
we're fanboys. Really, I mean,
he's got
beneath
the
this
Superman
we have
pin.
like old Star Wars T-shirts, right?
Yes.
So,
The
I've got my
original.
Superman
Got a
pin,
Superman pin
my
there.
Hugo nominee pin,
You know,
and
when it comes to shows, and if I'm going to cosplay, I always tell them, I'm a journalist, so I just put Superman underneath, and I'm good to go.
Yep.
I just be Clark Kent all day long.
and you put glasses on, and we wouldn't recognize you at all.
That happens.
Until
I don't even
Facebook
need glasses to not be recognized. That's how sad that is.
Wow.
She's gonna make us wrap it up. She's gonna shake that card. She's the rudest person, but we're gonna listen to her this time. We're going to wrap it up. As we do, we want to say thank you to our partners and our friends. This list keeps getting longer and better. Embellish Effects out of Orlando, Florida. Great stuff to get your cosplay needs, costuming. If you're an actor, stage show, you just need heavy makeup, whatever. Go on over to Embellish Effects. Pound the Grape in Melbourne. Great place to sit and write, by the way. There's a little wine bar. You can have a little wine. Relax.
And the writing gets a little sloppier as it goes.
It does. A little through the
Or
evening,
maybe
it
improve.
does. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's how Dan Shambles probably got so ridiculous. It started out a zombie apocalypse, ended up funny. Yvonne Mason at Off the Chain Radio, we want to thank you for all your sharing. Famous Faces and Funnies, Space Coast Comics, Some Unique Magazine. We want to thank Kevin J. Anderson for coming and being a great sport and hanging out with us. We love talking to you, man. Check out these books. We're going to put links down below. We've got Tales of Dune and Stalag. That one, I need that one.
And Blazing Saddles.
I need Tales of Dune, too, because I had like the Dune collection.
Sure.
That, by the way, that's serious reading. That's not...
Yeah, Stalag X is a little bit more serious than Dan Shambles, but
yes,
but I'm a diverse writer.
Indeed, yes.
My Little Pony's next. We got to work on that one.
But now we have to do the My Little Pony. See where we're at? I get to co-write with Kevin J. Anderson in My Little Pony universe. As far as you know, I'm telling the truth. We got to wrap it up. So as we do, remember, stay logged on, stay tuned in, and see who we're hanging with next. Kevin, thank you.
All right,
man.
thanks, man.
Awesome.
The Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour on Krypton Radio, bringing you the very best in pop culture talk radio. Each Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, the Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour with your hosts GW Pomichter and Christian Basel, who are hanging with rising pop culture newcomers as well as superstar icons. The Hanging with Web Show Radio Hour. Tune in Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Who are you hanging with?